Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another Hat Show, episode 211. In this one, we will be discussing the Hull City win on the weekend, and then obviously we'll be getting into our game tomorrow. Very difficult game, as we all know. You know, a lot of Luton fans that I've spoke to and seen what they've been saying online are not very confident going into that game. But first of all, Dad, how are you? You all good?
Yeah, all good, mate. Hope you're cool. Everyone's cool.
Yep, no, absolutely. Big up to everyone that was waiting as well and liked the stream before we've gone live. That's always great and always helps. So big up to yourselves for that. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So the whole game, I mean, going into it, I did say 0-0 or 1-0 to us. I felt it was one of them games. I wish I said the 1-0 because now you've overtook me, Dad, on the points that we do. But no, the lineup was quite interesting. I mean, for me, I sort of knew who was going to be involved because obviously, if you see my social medias, I've got pictures with a lot of the players, which was pretty sick actually. To be fair, and yeah, I had a good laugh with Elijah and Ruddock and stuff, saying take two of getting pictures with them and stuff. And yeah, that was always good. But yeah, you know, I sort of anticipated who was going to be involved. I see Anderson there, so I knew he'd be, you know, on the bench at least. But yeah, it was Kaminsky in goal, Mengi, McGuinness, and Holmes. It seemed like we went with, I don't know, it was an interesting one. Four at the back. You know, it did seem like that. It was interesting because when we spoke, Dad, about it before it kicked off, we were sort of thinking, well, who's on the left? You know, of that. But it seemed like as the game went on, it seemed like it was Chong, you know, as sort of, you know, a wing back, which we have seen at times, you know, the West Brom game when he was sort of free roaming in that sort of role. Obviously, Burke featured, Baptiste started, which was great. Kraus, and then obviously you had Elijah and Morris. So it was interesting. I mean, for the bench, you know, a lot more bodies on the bench, which was great to see with more experienced players. Obviously, Anderson was there, Brown was there, Hashioka was there. Surprised Hashioka didn't start, to be fair. Krul, Moses, Ruddock, Taylor, Walsh, Woodrow. So, you know, good depth when you look at that bench. You know, it's good to see, obviously, Anderson back and things like that. But it was an interesting one, the lineup, wasn't it, Dad?
Yeah, I mean, I initially thought it was 4-4-2. I think it was more of like a 3-5-2, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it was. And, you know, it come out after the game that, because I had Bell starting, but Bell slight niggle or something, so he didn't start. So I actually think that you know, it would have been Bell on the left, Hashioka on the right, possibly Baptiste and Kraus in the middle, Chong in the advanced position, and then, you know, Elijah and Morris up front. That's what I reckon that he was going to go with. Obviously didn't. And then I'm hoping that, especially playing away, that we stick with a 3-5-2, but I don't think we will. Because I think having that extra man in the midfield has protected the defence a little bit, i.e. Nakamba. So, yeah, I think it kind of, yeah, you know, if we're going to play three at the back, I would prefer to see that extra man in midfield for me. But, yeah, I don't think that was going to be the initial lineup, to be honest with you. I think it was going to be the similar lineup to what it was against Middlesbrough. You know what I'm saying? So, but regarding the bench, do you know what I mean? Strong, I would have started Brown over possibly Elijah. You know, got Moses there, Hashioka there, I'd say Anderson there, but probably would have been on the bench as well, I reckon. But it is what it is. It's still you know, a decent enough lineup. You know, if we was playing at the top of our game and that, we wouldn't be complaining about that. So yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, I think Bell got injured in the warm up. You know, when he was there. I mean, you know, it was a bit of an annoying one, you know, with him because you sort of felt he was going to maybe get some sort of injury just because, you know, last time we played back to back 90 minutes for Jamaica, obviously that happened. But obviously is available tomorrow, which is great. With Doughty being out as well. But yeah, it was an interesting lineup. It was good to see the midfield. A lot more in midfield. That gave me a lot more confidence because that's been my only worry with the previous formation. I don't mind the three at the back. I like the two up front with the cam, but it's just the two in midfield. But in this game, obviously, like you said, Dad, we had a lot more cover there, and that definitely helped. And you look at Nakamba, for example, obviously managed to play a full 90 minutes, which was great. 'Cause I don't know the last time he done that for Luton. On top of the 180 minutes he played for Zimbabwe as well, so that was always great that he's keeping up that consistency now. Hopefully, he can play a lot more minutes as the season goes on for us. But yeah, going into the first half, I mean, Hull were a better team. I felt in the first, 10 minutes, definitely. They had some golden opportunities. I mean, they had a diving header that I couldn't believe that didn't go in, to be honest. And, as much as I felt it was a good defensive performance, I thought Mengi was really good. McGuinness obviously stood out because of the finishes and stuff like that. I do feel it's still a bit of a worry, and it has happened throughout the season in the sense of where it's been easy for teams to get in behind and have golden opportunities. And Hull had a lot of them, and I said it myself. I think I might have said it on the vlog at the end of the reaction. If they were a better team, they would have took them chances. For example, if we give Leeds them chances tomorrow, they're definitely scoring from them. I felt as a team, we were really good in the sense of the pressing, the urgency. Usually it's a couple of players doing it, that's standing out. But I thought the whole team was good at that. I do feel we're a bit sloppy. Yes, the weather could play a part in that, in possession at times. But it was one of them, wasn't it, where it was sort of, a decent start from Hull. We were taking quite a while to get into it. People around me were saying, they've been the better side, and I totally agree with them. But I felt when we had that spell of corners, that's where we started to kick on. And we have seen that a lot this season, where we've had a rampant display of corners, like 3 or 4 in a row. And then we've ended up scoring from one of them. It happened in the Sheffield Wednesday game, where obviously we got a penalty from a corner, just a load of corners. And we eventually, obviously scored. And then it was like that in this game. McGuinness, what a finish. So happy for him because he's come close on a lot of set pieces since he's joined the club. And it was good that he got off the mark. And that was a proper striker's finish, wasn't it, Dad?
Yeah, I mean, slipping when he took it. But just, they were on top, like I say. This is still too easy in certain areas of the pitch, i.e., like either down. That's particularly down. It seems to be down the right hand side or the left hand side when they're playing it, and they just do get into easy. That is a bit of a worry. But it was good to see that we had different people taking the set pieces. Baptiste obviously, and then Walsh later on, but. For something different, and they're all going to take their set pieces differently from the way that Doughty does. You know what I'm saying? So and it's effective, and it was a good finish. He was slipping, he's done it, but again, that's the weather. But it was still a powerful, low-driven shot, and we know he's got that in his locker. We've he's scored a few goals for Cardiff as well. He's created a lot of chances for us, whether it's someone scored immediately after that or it's, the penalty was because of his header, I think, or one of his shots against Sheffield Wednesday. And that's what we need to be doing, actually scoring from set pieces, not like 1 in 10. We should, 1 in 4. You know what I'm saying? But it was good to see little spells of quality from us as well, rigidness, you know what I mean? That creeping in there. But, Hull, if they were on better form, it would have been a different story. And it's still, there's always genuinely stuff to like when we're playing. but it's never complete. Do you know what I mean? And that's the problem. You know, I think if we had if we had a poorer squad, I think we would really be struggling. But we've got certain players that are helping us. You know, I mean, Kaminsky does it. This is a perfect game for Kaminsky in the fact that, you know, normally we're losing in it or whatever, and he's still making 3 or 4 good saves. Like when he didn't have loads to do, but when he did, he's there. And that's what we want him for. Not a clean sheet. Home, you know, form is picking up. We are definitely getting more confident at home, particularly, you know, considering it's not like last season where we were cheering no matter what, and this, you know, we're cheering and stuff, but it's not like on that level because of certain performances, like in general. But I wouldn't say it was against the run of play either. The goal, I think, we got into the game, and you know, I'll say, you know, we deserved it, but and they were like huffed and puffed, but they were, you know, dangerous. They knew how to, you know, but what, you know, Rob Edwards always says this about teams. Yeah, they know how to do this and know how to do that, but we never like seem to combat it generally. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, great finish from him.
Yeah, and it goes back to what we said on the last episode about, you know, they're getting in behind a bit too easy. You know, where's that like Blackpool performance? You know, for example, you know, we're not seeing that in the sense of, you know, just grinding out that win. You know, I went on OK Football's phone in yesterday. Shout out to them guys, and you know, I was saying on there, you know, we're not. You know, when we're away, we're not having that. You know, as much as we didn't blow teams away, we're just not having them like them comfortable, emphatic wins. You know, like the 1-0s, the 2-0s. You know, and looking good, and we know we can do that. You know, because we have got the quality, and like you say, Dad, if we had a lesser squad, you know, with the quality of players, we would definitely be struggling more. And that's the thing. You know, we kept the core, and it's just it is frustrating. It is always good to still get wins when you're not playing overly great. You know, even though I felt in spells we were good, like I say, I felt defensively we were decent, bar them golden opportunities. Thought Mengi had a really good game. You know, he's had a lot of criticism about, you know, his determination there for Luton in the last couple of games, but I thought this game he was immense with his sliding blocks, sliding tackles and stuff. You know, McGuinness was obviously good, did score again. Obviously didn't count because the ball went out. Unfortunately, on the cross from Walsh, but what a finish that was as well. You know, it's a shame that one didn't count, wasn't it, Dad?
Yeah, I think so, but I think that they, you know, the whole players heard the whistle went straight away, like literally as it come to him. So they sort of held off a little bit anyway. But yeah, it was good, but you know, yeah, it weren't going to count. That split second does make a difference. And then, you know, obviously they brought that Casey Palmer on. I like him. He's a good player. He was all over us, let's be honest. And after that, they were peppering us, and it was back to the wall. You know, for prime bodies on the line and things like that, and actually like, you know, concentrating and defending that. In that spirit was there. I think that's probably the best we've so far this season, I would say. Which was good to see, because it weren't just one defender doing it. It was a few, and like I said, Campbell was involved in a few of them blocks and stuff. But you know, I hear a lot of people say it was a terrible game, but I've heard that a lot. Do you know what I mean? Some of that's down to the weather, and some of that's just that's how it is at the moment. Do you know what I mean? But you know, 3 points. We're still getting 3 points, and that's because of the squad we've got, and that's it. Particularly at home, but they were unlucky not to score, and on another day, they probably would have beat us 2-1. So. You know, Kaminsky made a great save at the end, deflected off of McGuinness, and he had to like save it with his feet. You know, with some good defensive blocks, particularly from Holmes, I felt, and Mengi, of course. But you know, we shouldn't really be having to do that. against certain teams really either, you know. So it's a bit of a tricky one. I do feel that again, it's one of them where we've won, you know, like we did against Hull, or we did against, you know, Watford, and then the next game, it just the reality kicks in. You can still, it's just not there. The performance was okay. It was ground out a little bit, but it's not the you know, I've seen it should have been we should have been in reality disregard the form and stuff. This should have been more comfortable, I think, you know. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I agree. Even though I said going into it, you know, us and Hull are very similar right now in the sense of the points at the time, pressure on both managers. You know, a lot of their fans, like I spoke to quite a lot before the game, obviously Lewis as well, and none of them were confident. You know, none of them, not one of them, you know, that I spoke to. I spoke to a good, you know, 4 or 5, and they weren't confident at all. So, you know, you look at it like that, and we do have a good record against Hull in recent years as well. You know, so it was one end where you looked at it, and I just knew it'd be that type of game where it'd be a tight game, just because the way we're playing, and the way they were playing, sort of thing. But yeah, I was near Rob Edwards during the game. Obviously, if you've seen the vlog, you would have seen that, which was pretty sick. That was probably the most. Oh, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I'm not that close to him every game, but you know, that was probably the most animated I've seen him. Swearing a lot of the players, you know, obviously in a good way, and that talking to Bert quite a lot. That was good to see. You know, I want to see that from him. You know, you know, no disrespect to the other ones, but I don't really want to see that. You know, he's the manager. He's the main one. Do you know what I mean? I want to see him doing it, and it was good to see. You know, it was good to see that. And there was a moment where you know, a couple of moments where he kept slightly stepping on the pitch and stuff. But yeah, no, that was pretty cool to see, to be fair. And I could see the subs, you know, quite close up when Walsh was getting told to come on. Obviously, that was pretty good moment as well. But yeah, the subs, you know, they were really good in the game. I felt Walsh was really good. You know, a lot of his deliveries, bar the one that obviously went out originally. But he done some good passing, you know, at times, and that's the thing. He has got a really good eye for a pass, and I've noticed that since he's joined the club. Obviously, he's had a lot of criticism since he come in because of the injury record and stuff. But I think in the games that he has played, bar the Oxford game, you know, where he obviously done that silly challenge, you know, I think other than that, he's been good. You know, done really well in this game. Hashioka was good, you know, linking up on that right hand side, getting crosses in, making runs and stuff like that. And obviously Brown tried to make an impact like always. And then you had Ruddock to come on and just try and see the game out, really. So all the subs were decent in the game. And like you say, it's one of them where, you know, we'll take the win. It's just, you know, what I said on the fan cam with Mike. We just need to keep up the consistency now. That's the thing. You know, it's all well and good doing this, but, you know, we need to keep that consistency. And yes, we've got Leeds away, which, you know, no one's really confident in, if we're being honest. But still, it's one of them where we need to perform. You know, realistically, yes, they're a good side and that, but we should be competing with them. You know, them top half teams. We should with the squad we've got, and we're not. Obviously, the table doesn't lie. So, you know, if it's like I said yesterday, you know, say for example we lost the game, but we gave it a right go. You know, people can't really be disappointed with that. Because Leeds are the best team in the league right now. You know, they're top of the league. Yeah, it's on the same points, but they're, you know, goal difference. They've done it. Ground out the win the other day. So, you know, we just need to perform. You know, performance levels are there. Then you can't be too disheartened, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll obviously get into that a little bit more. But yeah, let's go through some comments and then we'll get into the player ratings. Big up to Paul in the chat, like always. Good evening, lads. Big up to yourself, mate. Shout out to Early Doors. Great win for West Ham yesterday, by the way. 2-0 away at Newcastle. 2 really good goals as well from West Ham, to be fair. Wan-Bissaka obviously getting his first for West Ham as well. That was a good finish, to be fair. So yeah, great win. Great win. I weren't expecting that at all. But yeah, big up to yourself, mate. Jackie says, hi, T and Daz. Glad to get the 3 points. I only listened to the game. Thought we did well in parts. Yeah, exactly. We did. You know, other than their golden chances, I felt defensively we done well, like I said. You know, it's just the sloppiness in the passing at times and just holding up the ball at times. I felt we were a little bit sloppy in that sense. But yeah, corners we look to threat, and stuff like that pretty much every time. Even before we got the goal, Mengi had a chance, didn't he? Header, yeah, it was straight at the keeper, but still, that was a great cross from Baptiste, and you just felt it was a matter of time, when we were getting in corners as well. That's how I felt anyway. So yeah, that's that. Going into the player ratings, obviously we said about Kaminsky, didn't have an awful lot to do bar that save, deflected save. Did get a yellow card, I believe, in the game.
He didn't.
Oh, no, he didn't in the end. No, he didn't actually. I thought he did again. The referee was terrible, but I told you, lot going into it, it'd be terrible because he was the same guy that said that Newcastle's fourth goal stood against us when it shouldn't have. But yeah, in the game, I felt, he only had that save really. His distribution was okay, bar one moment that weren't great, nearly hit one of the players on the bench, but yeah, overall he was still decent. So I'll go 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. Agree with everything you just said. Basically, yeah, a couple of kick outs weren't his usual standard, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because of the weather and when he was called upon. He made that save. So yeah, 7. Other than that, he had a lot to do. Although they should have had, them chances, but it was the defence got to him, or they hit the post or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Before he had to do anything. So yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. Moving on to Mengi. I'll be honest, a close man of the match for me. He's not quite my man of the match, but he's a close man of the match. He's part of that clean sheet. His sliding tackles are wicked. I've said that since he's joined the club. The way he can chase players down and just slide tackle them, and it's brilliant. Obviously done some really good sliding blocks as well in the game. So yeah, like I say, close man of the match for me, but not quite my man of the match. So I will go with a 8. I'll go with 8 for Mengi.
He was pretty decent. Got in. Him and a couple of other players got in each other's way a couple of times, but and I think there was one moment where he nearly lost it, but he kind of recovered. But yeah, he's blocking and things like that. We're used to seeing that from him. Let's be honest. And I think he's pretty much a guaranteed starter as well. So I'll give him 7.5.
Yeah, and there was a moment when Ruddock come on where Ruddock didn't quite get it, but then I was a bit worried because they were in, and Mengi just got there. He just got there like nothing happened, sort of thing. Like they were never on the break. It was really good performance from him. And then moving on to McGuinness, he is my man of the match. 2 really good goals. Obviously, one of them didn't stand, but great finishes. Especially for a defender. Obviously got us the winning goal. Was part of that clean sheet. And I've said it since he's joined. By that QPR game, he's looked really good aerially. Whether that's defending or from an attacking standpoint. And I felt we saw a lot of that in this game. Defended really well, and if he carries on like this, then he definitely is showing the price tag. Let's be honest. So for me, man of the match, 8.5.
Yeah, he's mine as well. Got clean sheet. He wasn't like making them desperate clearances and stuff like that, but like saving his headers away, he scored a good goal. His passing and his confidence is there. His quality is there. He just come from letting in 5 goals against England. Some players and their confidence in that. Again, he's pretty much a guaranteed starter. I've liked him. Like say, bar that headed thing in that whatever game that was, Sheffield Wednesday, whatever game it was.
QPR it was.
QPR, sorry. I think he's been all right. Like I've seen a lot of criticism. Oh, he's slow. He's this, that. What are you on about? Not all defenders are blessed with pace. Do you know what I mean? And it's about their defensive capabilities. As far as we're not playing FIFA out here.
About their awareness, really.
Yeah, I'll give him 8. Yeah, my man of the match. There's a couple of other players that I think played well as well. Considering like he just played international football.
Yeah, I was surprised he played the full 90 minutes. If I'm going to be honest.
possibly his full debut. Yeah, exactly. And and they went down to 10 men and things like that. His confidence could have been. Well, he'd let in 10 goals in 2 games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, technically. So yeah, no, definitely. And
Yeah.
yeah, he's guaranteed starter for me unless he gets injured, obviously.
Yeah, no, he is guaranteed starter. I agree, especially down the middle. Of that three at the back, or maybe four, he's definitely there wherever really. Moving on to Holmes, like I say, I felt he's decent. I feel he's quite underrated to be fair from a lot of our fans. I think as the season goes on, we're going to see him play more. And be more of an option. A lot of people say around me at the game, he reminds them of Lockyer in senses, and I hear what they mean. Similar hairstyle, and I don't know, he's just quite similar in it. He jumps up for the headers. His awareness is good. Obviously, been looking at him for a while, so it's good that he's in and around the squad now, playing a lot more and stuff. And yeah, I felt he was decent in the game. So I'll just go over 7.
I thought he was really good, man. Like he was well up there for me as well. He first attack they had, I think he got the block in there, got a couple of nice late blocks in, put his body on the line. There was one time where he lost the ball, but he raced back and won it again. And as a unit, and previous games, he's actually had quite good opportunities to score. He can score as well. And like I say, we have looked at him for a while. But, I don't think he was initially going to be starting. But as you said, I'm happy for him to be on the bench. Like I've seen a lot more of him than, for instance, than we have Anderson. Let's be honest. So I'll give him 7.5. I thought he was definitely part of that strong defensive sort of performance that we did end up putting in.
Yeah, no, I agree. He was good in the game. Moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Burke. Now, seemed like he was, I don't know, sort of more out wide at times in the game, which, yes, for example, when we had James Bree, you see them chopping and changing. Sometimes Burke would go higher up and stuff. So we know he can do it. But I don't know, I feel he's better sort of, if you're going to do that, sort of like either on the right centre back or like, I wouldn't even mind seeing him, actually in front of I know it sounds crazy because he's actually a defender, but sort of like in a free roaming role, like sort of as a CDM. He is good at running forward with the ball. I just don't know about when he's out wide. And a lot of people didn't really agree with it. I mean, I felt he was decent in the game. I don't think he was a standout compared to the others, but again, first game back, obviously he did come off in the game, which had us worried because we know what his injury record's like. But he is available for tomorrow, so that's great to hear. And it's actually all positive, from a flipping press conference once, in the sense of no one else getting injured. So that's always good. But yeah, in the game, I think it was decent. I'll go over 6.5.
Uh, mm, yeah, he played out of position. He probably was gonna start, but he would have started in his normal position. Hashioka was probably going to start, as I said before, in that position. So he was kind of thrown into it. He didn't do too bad, particularly against his old club. He got stuck in and start. You know what I mean? It's not his normal position, is it?
And there was times in the first half as well, because I was right next to him, like where he was. He had a lot of space, and if we could get it out there, Rob Edwards was shouting at other players, like, "Look at him! Like, look at Berkey and stuff."
Yeah, he was. Yeah, but then exactly. But I don't think it was particularly bad. But I expect him to probably be starting in his normal position tomorrow. And he got a yellow card. I think he did tug someone back or something like that. Pretty sure. And then he come off, for Hashioka. I do feel that the subs as well were kind of made at the right time as well. Maybe Elijah should have come off earlier, or even Morris for me, But I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, fair enough. Moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Baptiste. Like we said, from corners, very good. I said it. He is the one behind Doughty when it comes to the set pieces. You're seeing that now, and yeah, You know, it's really good from him. Obviously, played in the corner for the first goal. And yeah, he was really, really good in the game. I want to see him start more. I know you're the same on that, Dad, as well. So, again, could be a close man of the match, to be honest, in this game. I'll go 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5. Yeah, he played 56 minutes, but he was definitely the best player in the first half, in my opinion. You know what I mean? He was getting forward more, like, you know, corners and that, but like pushing over to that right hand side and you know, winning the ball and just showing his strength, you know, and things like that. And obviously he come off, but you know, I'm hoping that he starts tomorrow. I don't want to see Clark in midfield. I'm telling you now, if we go back to that, put Clark and I don't know, Krause in midfield again against Leeds United, we're getting rolled over. I'm telling you that now. So you know, I want to see him start. I thought he was excellent, and I thought he was good in the game before as well. And he's pushing for a start. You know, we said before he got injured, he looked good out of the new signings. He looked very good. You know, I'll give him 7.5.
Yeah. And the thing is, the things that stood out for me with him was his crossing. You know, the Celta Vigo game, he obviously got the assist, and then the Burnley game, he was the one who played it on Stouty, who headed it forward to Chong for the goal. So, you know, it's good that he's taking them set pieces at this moment in time, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, he definitely deserves to start. I mean, you know, whether that's where he is now or even at. Well, I don't know because I like Chong in the can, but even then, I think you know you can put Baptiste there. You know, you have done that. He done that against Cardiff, I think it was. Brung him on there, didn't he? So you know, we'll see. We'll see as it goes on. But moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Krause. Decent in the game. You know, worked hard yet again. You know, obviously got the player of the month as well for October as well. So that was great. He's had good moments since he's come to the club. He's been one of the standout players, if we're going to be honest. And yeah, you know, it's a decent game from Krause. So I'll go with a 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. You know what you're getting from him. Like his passing is real quality. He works hard and getting the ball. I think he was less effective in this game, but he was still okay. But you know, he's played for the last 4 games or something in a row. I swear, like you know, he could be rested possibly, because you know it's a 3-game week and all that. But yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, no, he was good. Again, another one of the players I got pitched with. That was great. Moving on to the next player, Chong. It seemed like he was sort of, you know, more as a wing back in this game, which, I mean, if he's free roaming like the West Brom game, I think it works. But if he's sticking there, like he's good at driving, and he's probably the only player really that I can think of in our team that'll proper drive at players. But I don't know. I just feel you're taking it away from him. I feel he's better if you put him in the cam role to do that. And he's also good at feeding in, you know, the likes of Morris and Elijah, for example. So, yeah, I mean, in the game, you know, he did win the ball back a few times, which is good to see, considering he's more of an attacking-minded player. And he did work hard. You know, a lot of times he was trying to find options and stuff. I think he took through throws as well, and there was not players moving. Obviously, how close, you know, a lot of us were. We were going, "Come on, move about, boys! I'll move about for him and stuff." But yeah, I felt he was decent, so I'll go with a 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. That's exactly what you said, and it brings out that conundrum as well, like why we're playing to in midfield. Because Phil, with the strikers we've got, yeah, we like them and that, but I think if they haven't got someone behind them as well, then they struggle more, and I think they did in this game, and that's the problem. You know, I don't know what to suggest there, like, but we keep chopping and changing. Clark in midfield is definitely not the answer. Let's put it that way. But yeah, he's better in that cam role, as you say, driving at players, and we didn't have that so much. So it was down to the strikers to do the bits more, and you know, Elijah was pretty anonymous. I'm not going to lie. Morris was more lively, but he was getting fouled. But I feel like he lets
He
it
was
get
quite sloppy in possession, if we're going to be honest.
times. He worked hard, no doubt,
Mm.
but yeah, I'll give Chong a 7.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And then moving on to the two strikers, we'll start off with Elijah. Like you say,
We won't. Before that, we'll go over to Nakamba because you missed him out because you're so used to only having 2 in midfield.
yeah. Nakamba, like I said earlier, it was good to see that he played a full 90 minutes on top of the 180 for Zimbabwe as well. So I'm surprised he didn't come off, to be honest. But it's good to see. He needs them minutes under the belt because, especially me, I want to see him play more anyway as the season goes on and be alongside Kraus if we are to stick with 2 in midfield. But even if we stick with 3 or 4, whatever, I want to see him in there because he on his day he's solid and he's very good in front of the defence. But yeah, I mean, it was decent in the game. It was decent. Did get a yellow card. I can't really remember why. But he was good.
It weren't that.
Yeah, it weren't major, was it? Yeah, it weren't major. But I was just happy that he got full 90 minutes, if I'm going to be honest. So for me, I'll go again. I've gone with a lot, but I'll go with another 7.
Yeah, I'll give him another 7. He makes a couple of good blocks. You saw more of his sort of break-up play, even though it was more further up the field, you know what I mean, winning the ball back and stuff like that. Yeah, it's good. I don't think he'll be playing tomorrow at all because, he's played a lot and that's what we do. And he doesn't really seem to be like favourite of Rob Edwards, even though he signed him at the moment. But, we'll see. But I'll give him 7.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. He was, like I say, I was just more happy that he got full 90 minutes for us. And then moving on to the strikers, like I say, Elijah. Yeah, I mean, I think he had a few chances in the first half, like as in getting onto the ball and stuff. But it was just he weren't really there for big chances that I can think of, which was a bit of a surprise because, like I said, going into it, he has a good record against Hull, whether that's scoring or getting assists, especially in the recent years. So yeah, I think I'll just go over 6.5.
I'm just going to give him a 6. I didn't think he was, he was chasing down a little bit and that, but more defensively. And there was a moment in midfield where him and Kraus got in the way and they got a breakaway. I just think he was ineffective in there. And I think, like we've discussed it, I do think we need a proven championship striker to help. They've got quality, but they've it's more been a confidence thing with them. Do you know what I mean? Less than a natural finishing ability, particularly for Elijah. I think let's have it right. But yeah, I'm just going to give him 6. Yeah, I don't think I started him in my lineup. I think I had
no, you had Morris and Brown, yeah,
and I want Brown to be starting tomorrow because I think he could cause Leeds some problems.
We'll get into it. I've got something to say on that. And then moving on to Morris, like I say, slightly better than Elijah. Yes, he was getting fouled left, right, and centre. The amount of times I shouted during that game, just flipping, asked for his shirt after the game. Oh, it's a joke. It happens every game, every single game. However, like I say, he was quite sloppy in possession. There was a time where I think he done well to hold the ball down, then he passed it, and it weren't a great pass at all. And I think they went on a break from it. So not the best of games, but he was still trying. He was still trying. You love to see that, and he always does. He always does try in the games. So for me, again, I'll go another 6.5.
Yeah, I'll give him 6.5. He did have the effort, which nearly, but then it come off for someone else. I think it was going wide, like a snapshot. And I just think it just frustrates him. And I think the teams know that, and they just like do it to him, see how much they can get away with. And then it just sort of affects his game after that. And that's the problem. Particularly if we haven't got a Cam there to for them to worry about, if that makes sense. So I think if we've got Chong in there, then they're more worried about Chong, and then that frees up Morris and Elijah more. So I see why we're doing that. and I see why we're getting the two in midfield. But they got to be strong, the two in midfield. Do you know what I mean? Like last time we had Barkley and the Campbell, Barkley and the Congai. Yeah, they're proper. You can play with them two in midfield all day fucking long. Do you know what I mean? But you can't be playing like Clark and do you know what I mean? For me, like Baptiste and Kraus, I think that's all right. You know, Baptiste and the Campbell, I think could be all right, but Kraus, yeah, it's difficult, you know. But if you had better strikers, then you wouldn't necessarily need Cam. Do you know what I mean? I get it, but yeah, I'll give him 6.5.
Yeah, fair enough. And then the subs, Walsh, like I say, he was good when he come on. You know, done well. Like I said earlier, by that corner. But his other corners before that looked dangerous. He done really good link up play. I think there was a 1-2 he did with someone.
Chong.
Yeah, that was it. Chong. That was really nice. That was literally in front of me. So that was good. And I felt he was good in the game. He's got a lot of criticism since he's come into the club due to that injury record. But I think other than the Oxford game, you know, he's done really well. And he's a good option to have off the bench. So, you know, you look at the Preston game, for example, I think he was the only positive from that, to be honest, when he come on. And he's had good cameos, another good cameo in this game. So for me, I'll go over 7.
Yeah, I'll go at 7. You know, his passing range is good. Similar in certain ways to Barkley. You know, they've got a bit in common and that. I think they're both sort of like Everton or whatever. So yeah, I think, you know, he's coming on and he's affecting games. But you know, that cross that when he whipped it into the box, and if you know one of our players was had a bit more desire. This is what I'm talking about with strikers or whatever, to get on the end of that, we would have scored that. And that would have settled the game much more then. But you know, he might start. You know, but we'll see. I think I'm not quite sure he will. Probably be the same. Baptiste to start, and he'll come on in the second half, or vice versa. But I think that he might start against Norwich actually. But yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Obviously, it's a quick turnaround, isn't it? Back-to-back away games on top of that whole game as well. So there definitely will be rotation, and maybe he might start. Did start against Middlesbrough, and we didn't expect that, if we're going to be honest. So you never know. Moving on to the next player, Hashioka. Again, I thought he was good when he come on. He done really well on that right-hand side, linking up, getting crosses into the box, and he's looking a lot more composed, isn't he? As the games have gone on since that Watford game. You know, so for me, again, I'll go another 7.
Yeah, 7, and he does a couple of good defensive manoeuvres as well. You know, like blocks and things like that. He's really switched on, and he's trying to keep his place basically. And you know, another thing I'll discuss about that right hand side as well, the way we play. You know, we signed Moses, but Moses is not really fitting in, is he?
No.
To this, you know what I mean? Because we want to see him further up, but where are you going to put him? Unless you put him in a cam or you put him up front, you know. But he's got that quality that you could probably have him up front, because he'd be dangerous in the penalty box. I'll tell you that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
but
yeah.
Pace. Do you know what I mean? But then Morris hasn't got loads of pace. They've probably got similar pace. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? But I guess you could bring him on if we're desperate. You know, if we're pushing for a winner or pushing for an equaliser, like we have done, like we did against Sheffield Wednesday, and then just tell him to go out on that right hand side or whatever, which is good. But yeah, Hashioka, I think he's going to hold that place now. You know, because it's his natural position, and he has been decent at it. He had 2 games for Japan as well, I think.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Do you think he would have?
The first one, I don't think he featured in the second one, but 2 wins.
Yeah, I think he was meant to start as well. So you know, but I'll give him I'll give him a 7 as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Then moving on to Brown. Again, like I said, tried to make an impact. A few times he got on the ball. A few times I was maybe thinking, Brown, go for it. Especially after that goal he scored against Watford. But he was decent in the game. I wouldn't say he was as good as the other two, but he was still decent, and he tried to bring the energy. So I'll go 6.5.
Yeah, same 6.5, and then
Ruddock.
I'll just give him a 6 because
Yeah, I agree. 6, yeah. 6. So there are the player ratings for Hull. Obviously, like I said, points. You've now overtook me, Dad, after a very slow start. Hopefully, that's like what Luton do. Have a slow start and then start getting some points. But yeah, as for the man of the match, obviously McGuinness now has 3 votes throughout the season, so he's up there. He's up there behind Baptiste and Kaminsky, who are joint top. He's now level with Elijah as well. So it's going to be very interesting come the end of the season how that is. But yeah, overall, not a vintage performance like I said, but we'll take it. But the main thing for me is that consistency now. In performances anyway. That's what I want to see. Better performances. Again, we've got 2 really difficult away games if we're going to be honest, especially tomorrow night. But they are ones where we should be competing with these teams. We should. We should. So as long as the performances get better, then I'll be happy personally. But any final things that you want to say on the whole game?
Nah, that's it. Yeah,
that is it. But yeah, moving on to the game tomorrow. Obviously, we're taking on Leeds, as we all know, away, and yeah, it doesn't really get easy. We go from a poor Hull side, if we're going to be honest, to a better team in Yorkshire. The best team in the league right now, top of the league. Obviously they had heartbreaking playoffs last season, and now they're proper motivated to go back up. And I do think they will go back up, whether that's winning the league second or winning the playoffs. I think they'll have that extra motivation, like we did, the season after. And obviously, their Klopp now has a say in their club as well. So it's all great for them. It's all great for them. Top of the league, you've got a mad game win the other day, you could say, against Swansea. Obviously, scoring literally a minute after Swansea did in the 90th minute. Crazy. They're grinding out their results, and yeah, I am worried about this game. To be honest, I have to be honest because it's like David said on the fan cam the other day. We play how we did today at the time against Hull. Leeds will exploit that and they will take them chances. And we have to show a good performance. We do in this game because it's one of them where we can't even switch off. Like maybe a few times we did in the whole game and got away with it, but this game we really can't do that. I've always worried about their wide players. I think they're proper dangerous. And obviously they got Bamford, who's experienced at this level. They've got a lot of good players. So we need to be on it. Their atmosphere is going to be rocking. Ellen Road, midweek. Yeah, it doesn't get more difficult than this right now, I think, in the Championship, to be fair. But bit of insight going into it and positions and stuff. So obviously we 16th in the table. If we did win, we could maybe go up to 11th, the highest, depending on what them teams do. Obviously, some of them are playing today. And then obviously, as for Leeds, obviously they're top of the league as it is. But if they do win, they could extend their lead depending on what Sunderland do and Sheffield United. But yeah, they are top on goal difference. I'd say 2 better goal difference than Sunderland. But the other bits going into it, and a lot of these favour Leeds. Leeds United have lost 1 of their last 11 league games against Luton, winning 7, drawing 3, losing 5-1 at Kenilworth Road in October 2006. Luton are winless in their last 9 away league games against Leeds United, drawing 2, losing 7. With this, their first visit since a 1-1 draw in June 2020. And that was obviously when COVID was about. Cornet scored that great goal. And Obviously, there was the cardboard cutouts he obviously celebrated in front of. But yeah, I remember watching that game. That was a really good point, actually. At that moment, that was the season we were trying to survive as well. So that was always a great point. Leeds have won 14 home league games at Ellen Road in 2024. They're most in the calendar year for them since 2009, which was 20. So they could break that. I could see it. It's only 6 more wins. Luton have lost each of their last 4 away league games, conceding 13 goals in that time. They'd lost only 4 of their previous 24 championship away games prior to this run. Again, it goes back to what I say earlier. You know, that grit and determination to grind out them results. We're not seeing that. You know, we're getting, caught out quite easily defensively. And that is worrying. And then the last one on this section, Leeds are unbeaten in their last 9 home midweek league games, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, obviously, winning 6 of them, drawing 3. They last lost such a game in the Championship in March 2018 to Wolves, which was a 3-0 defeat. So they do very well midweek as well. So yeah, bit more going into it. We've won, obviously, our back-to-back home matches, but struggled on our travels. Only 4 points this season away. Obviously, Portsmouth, the draw, and the win against Millwall. And then they're on a run of 5 consecutive wins on home soil. Obviously, they got the win on Sunday as well, which moved them to the top. Team news going into it is actually positive, and there's no negatives once, which is mad, really. So obviously Bell is back in contention after picking up a knock during international duty. So it wasn't actually warming up. That's what I heard, but it was during that time in Jamaica. But again, I'm not surprised. Full 90 minutes back to back. But it's good that he's in contention for this. Like I said earlier, especially with Doughty out. And then Jordan Clark returns. Obviously, he served his 1-match ban. Reece Burke, Baptiste, and Kraus were substituted, but have all been past fit for the game. I'm very happy, particular about Burke in that one, because, like I say, we know what his injury record's like. I knew Baptiste would be in, and Kraus. I just knew it, so I weren't as phased in that sense. Bit more on Leeds. They've put their rocky start to the season behind them as they challenge Sunderland and Sheffield United for the top spot in the Championship, like I said. Back-to-back league draws with a shock 3-0 home defeat to Middlesbrough in the Carabao Cup between them was far from the ideal start before they turned the tide. 4 clean sheets from 5 games followed, and the Yorkshire side have lost just once since August. Crazy. Moving to the top of the league after their dramatic 4-3 win. Leeds have scored more goals at home than any other Championship side, and top scorer Pirro has scored in both of his last 2 games at Ellen Road. So, yeah, that's not ideal to hear. Again, I touched on it earlier, last time we played them. Obviously, it's a massive point towards our Championship survival. When Cornet scored that spectacular goal. The referee for this game will be Sam Allison. If you guys remember, he refereed the first Premier League game last season of his career when we beat Sheffield United on Boxing Day, that 3-2, that weird game, very weird game that was. Obviously, it forced them into 2 own goals to win that game. It was crazy. But yeah, so that will be the referee. I mean, I can't really remember him from that game. I think he was a bit average, but again, would you expect from half of these referees, to be fair? But yeah, Dad, after saying all of that, how are you feeling going into this game?
Not confident. I mean, our away form's terrible. I can't see us suddenly putting in a superb performance, because I don't think we're at that level yet. Particularly away. Obviously, they've lost 2 games all season. They're, the team that just misses out normally makes sure that they get maximum points from most games and deliver. They'll be full of confidence. They've got the players to hurt us. They're probably potentially the strongest team we've played this season, especially away. And against other teams, Middlesbrough picked up. They beat someone 6-2 at the weekend, which makes that 5-1 not look so. But we were terrible in that game. So I just, particularly if we do put Clark back in the midfield. I know it sounds like you've got this hate towards him. I haven't. I just don't think it works. And even if he isn't, they're just on so much. If they score a couple of goals, then it's going to be another hiding. That's what I think. Normally if we do lose to them, it is very close. It's 1-0, it's 2-1s. We don't have a great record, but we normally do perform against them. Especially under Nathan Jones, we did. Can't see that happening. So I'm not that confident. And I know Gary Sweet said about his notes, certain things, had a meeting, but he was in between the lines. He was saying about their away performances they need to pick up. Do you give the benefit of the doubt of this game? Possibly, if the performance is there, but I feel like if we get another thrashing, you got to make a decision then, because it's not going to change, is it? So it's going to be awkward, I think. Because they'll be able to score first. No doubt. So I'm not feeling confident. I haven't, and most of the reason I say that is because I haven't seen it this season. I just haven't seen it in any sort of reason really for us to be confident about going. When we played Sunderland and they were top, yeah, that was a good performance, but we was at home. We still lost that. So yeah, I'm not feeling confident in this game. I'm not gonna lie. I want to be proven wrong, but we've just been too inconsistent. And with Jekyll and Hyde, we win one game, 1-0, whatever we do, and then get slapped. And then I just think it's going to happen again. I do.
Yeah, it's definitely the game I've not been the most confident in this season for sure. That's one way to put it. And you look at their home form, their last 5, they've only conceded 1 goal. It's just they're winning comfortably 2-0, 3-0, and stuff like that predominantly at home. As for us away, 1 win in 5. That was against Millwall. The win, obviously, I thought that could be a turning point, but obviously it wasn't to be. So yeah, and I've been to obviously more away games than home games this year, and I don't know what it is away like. I'm used to us just grinding out results, and looking good, but we're just looking every time a team goes forward, you're worried. Every single time. It's not necessarily going forward. We are decent at times, but again, you need someone who's direct for me up front. I like Morris and Elijah, but they're more players that hold up the ball. And again, Brown's quite direct in that sense. We know Taylor is, but he just ain't going to play unless we get drastic injuries. So it's one of them really. But yeah, not confident at all going into this game. But as for the lineups, again, gone for the same lineup back to back. Let me just move that Leeds United preview thing. Kaminsky in goal, goes without saying. Burke, McGuinness, and Mengi. Yeah, I reckon, like you said earlier, Dad, Burke will play there. And hopefully it's one of them where it doesn't get any injuries and stuff like that. McGuinness, again, goes without saying, like we say. Mengi was, close second and man of the match for me the other day, so that's why I put him in. I think, if we are to get anything out of this game, I think he could be quite vital defensively for us. Hashioka on the right, I want to see him playing. Like I said, I was a bit surprised that he didn't the other day. Obviously, yes, we got a few. Obviously, Bell wasn't available and stuff, but even then, I thought he'd still play, on that right side. He's definitely warranted to start, in my opinion, continuously over the last couple of weeks. Bell on the left wing back, again, no doubt Iso, who else are you really going to put there? I don't want to see Chong there because, like I said earlier, I feel he's better as a cam. Baptiste, Kraus. Me personally, I was thinking of maybe putting the Cabra in and then taking him off in like the 60th minute. But again, I thought to myself, well, who's going to take set pieces? Because I would have kept Kraus in, I'll be honest. And I feel Baptiste does deserve to start because of that crossing ability. And also, as much as Nakamba's played a lot of games, it's good to see. I don't want to see him get rushed back because I think that happened last season. I think we rushed him, didn't we? And then he got injured or something. It was
No, I think
definitely
he's fine. I think he's fine to play, but I can't see where he's. Like, you can't. Kraus might get rested because he's played a lot of games. That's the only reason. But then I've got a feeling that Wall should start instead. So
yeah, I'd think if Baptiste don't play, I would say Walsh comes in. But then again, Hugh's going to take set pieces.
It'll be Clark. I'm telling you, it's going to be Clark.
Probably. Which again, I don't agree with because you never know what you're going to get. It's quite inconsistent in centre mid, and again, I feel he's better as a cam personally. But again, you're not going to drop Chong, are you? So
No.
yeah. Talking about Chong, obviously there. Again, I want to see him higher up, like I said. And then Morris, I mean, I'll be honest, for me personally, a lot of that is because he is the captain and he was slightly better than Elijah the other day. And again, I feel Elijah needs what Morris had in the sense of being, put to the bench to prove a point when you come on. Because then if he gets a goal, say, for example, comes on and gets a goal, then he should start the next game. If Brown didn't score or Morris, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm going to go Brown. Whether he started or not, he's made an impact this season. We rate him highly, Dad, like we say every single time. So that's my reasoning for going with that team. But yeah, anything you'd like to add, Dad?
Yeah, like I say, Bell. For me, yes, he starts there. He started in the last away game. Obviously got battered, but he got took off before most of all that happened. Anyway, I think the first 30 minutes we were good. He's played before we even had Doughty. He was more in that position anyway. Hashioka, he's been doing well. I can't see us putting Moses there, really. The midfield's a tricky one, but that's what I'd be looking to go with. Or instead maybe Walsh McCann. But I don't want to see Clark there, I'm telling you. And then, Brown, I think he deserves a start. And then obviously Chong, to run at their thing. Burke starting, I can't see. Holmes obviously had a good performance. You could say put Bell there, but then you're going to put on the left. You could put Moses there, but not for me. It'd be interesting to see what we actually go with, but if we're going to stick with that formation, go back to that formation, should I say, then that's what I feel that we should be going with.
Yeah, I mean, Aidan in the chat says 5-4-1. That would be my lineup.
Yeah, so we might do that. Yeah, we might do that, but that's already going right. We've got to just try and grind out desperate, like kind of. Do you know what I mean? I get that.
I know what you mean.
I don't think that's going to have any.
Yeah,
effect.
I don't. Yeah,
be half.
I don't mind the 5 and the 4. We were saying, weren't we, Dad? Especially that Sheffield Wednesday game that we need 2 up front. I just feel it's better, and you've seen in previous seasons it has worked, hasn't it? So, yeah. And by the way, Norwich have got back-to-back home games. Obviously, us on the weekend. They have just scored against Plymouth already. Signs, what a surprise. So, yeah, 3 minutes in, they're 1-0 up in that game. But let's go through some comments. Get that off screen now so you can see us. But yeah, comments. Obviously, a lot of people putting their score predictions. We'll get into them. David says, good evening. A bit late this evening. Hope you're both well. Still think we need to massively improve, and we are far away from where we should be, but at least we've got 3 points, and Leeds is going to be hard. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. You want to see the performances. You see the performances. You see a good performance against Leeds, and we narrowly lose. Obviously I'll be gutted because we lost, but at the same time, I could tolerate that. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to see us rolling over like it's just not good enough. Big up to Spencer in the chat as well. And then obviously a lot of people are putting their predictions. Big up to Geordie in the chat. Yeah, very surprised, man. Like the fact that you didn't even score, I was very surprised. But yeah, big up to yourself, mate. But yeah, it's that time. Score predictions. I would say we're not confident going into it. Leeds, they're on fire. They're top of the league. And yeah, Ellen Road, they're very good. only conceded 1 in their last 5, so not ideal. We've only won 1 of our last 5 away, and even then that was a bit of a worry, especially towards the end of that game against Millwall. So yeah, what's your score prediction, Dad?
I'm just going to go over it. Normally, I'm like a bit, it might be all right. But I'm just going to go in there. I reckon they'll slap the shit out of us. I'm going to go 5-1 Leeds.
Oh God! Oh, I shouldn't laugh, but that is just.
But from last season, do you know what I mean? Where you saw certain things and was like, nah, we should be turning it around. But I haven't seen enough in the squad to suggest that it's going to be different. Even the performance, I just can't see it.
You haven't seen that consistency, and that's been the problem.
I just can't see it. Like, I'm not confident. Under Nathan Jones, yeah, because we normally would be more consistent. We'd bounce back, but especially away. Do you know what I mean? But I just can't see it. I like the players, and it's just not happening. And I said to you the other day, I think they'll win the league, and they'll continue that. I just think we'll do what we normally do. We'll look good for half hour, for maybe get 0-0, 1-0 at half time, and then second half bang. That's what I feel is going to happen. And probably get injuries again, like we seem to. That sounds negative, but I've been positive a lot. Do you know what I mean? And I just can't see it. So I think another good idea, and potentially then they pull the trigger. And we'll be going to watch Norwich without a manager. Do you know what I mean? But we'll see.
Moving like Coventry at the moment, no manager still.
Yeah, I'm saying, but I just can't. I can't see it. I can't see it, and I'm basing this on they're potentially a Premier League team. We're playing Premier League teams and whatever away. They were just slapping the shit out of us, and it's not just this season. It's gone back to last season, even in the pre-season friendlies. Do you know what I mean? We leaked too many goals. We were lucky against Hull. There was some good blocks in defensive, but Leeds, you're not going to have that luxury.
No, you're not. Like that diving header Hull had. Leeds are scoring all very long.
I don't want to see us act. When we was away in the Premier League last season against certain teams, we were just like setting up 10 at the back and all that. One up, do you know what I mean? Like against Villa and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're asking for it, aren't you? Really,
we're not a League One team, and if you're starting to, I don't want to see that. We shouldn't have to do that. We've got enough quality in the squad, but I just can't see it. I just think that even if the lads do like Rob Edwards and he's a nice guy, but you know what I mean. If your boss isn't, in the back of your mind, that it's not working. Do you know what I'm saying? And then last time, why was Woodrow up front?
Yeah, that was weird against Middlesbrough.
Yeah, he just seems to make these weird ass decisions sometimes, and I've just got a feeling it's going to be that back to that formation.
There's always one weird decision. I guess the one the other day was where Burke was.
Yeah, but I think that was enforced. So I give him the benefit of the doubt on that. I think, do you know what I mean? But he made it out as if it was in the game. But then you're saying he was injured in the, or unless he come back and he got the knock or whatever. I don't know. But then, I don't know. It's a bit weird. I'm not going to lie. But I like the way he's more active and that. But I just don't think. You can't see it. You see it under Nathan Jones, like where they would push for certain things, and it's just there's trouble there. There is. Let's not beat around the fucking bush. I think we're gonna get another good idea. But goal scorer, I'm gonna go Brown.
Fair enough. Well, he is actually from Yorkshire, actually, isn't he? So
yeah. I think
extra determination. I think he showed that in that Sheffield United game. He was one of the better players alongside Baptiste when he come on. So you never know. As for my prediction, like I said, I'm not confident either. I don't think it'll be as bad as that. Hopefully not, anyway. But I do think they will win quite convincingly. I'm going to say 3-1 to Leeds. I do. Well, I want to say we score, but then again, I can see them getting a clean sheet and a 3-0 win, to be fair. But yeah, it's just one of them, isn't it? Where yeah, we need to play someone like Brown for me because he is quite direct and he will cause them problems. But it's just keeping the ball out from them, which I'm worried about, to be honest. Especially with chances we do give away. A team like that would definitely take them chances. So yeah, we shall see. But everyone else's prediction, Aidan has gone with the same as me, 3-1 win for Leeds. I mean, David's gone 4-1. It could very well be. I don't think we will win tomorrow, says Jackie. I'm not going to put us to lose. Desmond, Colton, and Brown. Fair enough. Sheffield United have scored, by the way. So as it stands, they are top of the league. O'Hare in the 10th minute scored against Oxford in that one. Spencer says 2-1 Leeds. So that's the closest score so far. Well, other than Jackie's 2-2. 2-2 as well, Paul says. Fair enough. Good luck against Leeds. Well, remember when you spoke to Jake Halstead and he said we're going to need it in the conference. We say to you we're going to need it.
That's what it feels like in the moment. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's awful. 2-0 Leeds. Yeah, exactly. They will win. 1-0 to Leeds. 5-1. Yikes. Yeah, even Spencer was surprised with that. I mean, I was surprised at that because, like I say, you always try and keep the faith, but you got to be real sometimes, and that is the fact and the reality. If we give away chances like we have against high flying Leeds, we will get slapped, like you say. 5-0 West Brom. When is that? Is that today or tomorrow, by the way? That game almost went 3-1. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough. But yeah, my goal scorer, I haven't done mine. I'll go Morris. I've got a feeling like one thing I will say about Leeds is as much as they are solid at the back, I don't rate them from set pieces. And I feel we are, that is a strong point of ours that we need to utilise more. And I feel if we can provide crosses like the other day, especially from Baptiste, then we can score. Morris header, I'll say. But overall, we still lose the game. Unfortunately, but hopefully we'll prove them wrong. If we get a draw out of this game, that will give us a lot of confidence going into that game against Norwich. I'll be honest, I do think this is definitely the harder game. Norwich are only, well, obviously are winning right now, but going into today, they're only a point above us. Everyone's moving like they're flipping way above us. So it's interesting. They finally lost at home as well, but obviously we're getting to that nearer the time. But yeah, any final things, Dad, you want to say on anything?
I think I've said enough.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, as for me, shout out to Darth Vader. I will be going to the game tomorrow. I'm dreading it, to be fair, because every single away game I've been to, lost. Keep me in a newsstand. Keep me in a newsstand, guys, because I've been there twice and we've won both games. Even though they haven't been convincing, we've still won. So that's always good. But yeah, I haven't witnessed no away day. I haven't even witnessed a draw away from home. Could have witnessed it at Portsmouth, but didn't decide to wake up. So yeah, it's just not good at the moment. But yeah, I will be there. Obviously, we will be at Norwich as well, Dad. So yeah, going to the next two games. But yeah, not too confident. So obviously there'll be a vlog. Try and do a reaction, but obviously it's a midweek game in it, so I have to sort of be quick with it because I won't get back till very early hours of the morning. So yeah, there'll be a vlog, there'll be a reaction from me, and everything like that. So check all of that out when it drops, and yeah, that is that. So big up to everyone that's tuned in. Do obviously smash a like if you haven't already. Do subscribe to the channel. As well, new subscriber the other day as well, so that's always great. And do check out the stuff from the other day if you haven't checked that out. The vlog, the whole vlog, and obviously the fan cams as well. Some interesting debates and stuff said on the fan cams, so do check them out. And yeah, man, follow me across all my socials as well. And yeah, man, until tomorrow. I'll see you lot in a bit. We'll do a hat show. We'll do it all in one on Friday, and then get into that Norwich game. And then, yeah, like I say, a vlog on Saturday to that and everything like that. So big up to everyone that's tuned in. Spencer says take care all. Same to you, mate. And until next time, we'll see you lot in a bit. Take care and peace.
Peace.